Chandler, UFC lightweight. I mean, is it still sounding weird? Is it setting in? How does it feel now?
I think it's set. I think it's setting in. It's starting to. I think it really won't set in till that cage door closes, the octagon door closes, and Bruce Buffer starts announcing my name. But the last couple weeks have been a whirlwind, if you will. Still focusing on training as well, along with all the new media and stuff, and just meeting all the new staff. So coming here, whether I fight or not, this is a great dress rehearsal, great dry run, rubbing elbows with all my new colleagues, all my new coworkers, and introducing the UFC fans to who Michael Chandler is. I've never pulled out of a fight, never said no to a fight, never missed weight, so I'm the perfect guy, especially in 2020, the year of all kinds of craziness. Have a backup fighter for this, the biggest lightweight fight possibly in of the year for sure.
Was this a tough call for you? I mean, like this situation, right? It's so unique, right? I mean, on the one hand, you could come in and win a world title right away, and you're a UFC champ. On the other hand, you may not fight at all, even though you're putting in a full camp and all that. So, was this a difficult decision for you to make?
I don't think it would be, and I can't put myself in my future self's shoes, but maybe down the line, after a couple fights or a couple years in the organization, maybe I would have said yes after a little bit more leg pulling or twisting of the arm, if you will. But this one was a no-brainer. Dana said, "Hey, October 24th, are you ready for October 24th?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He floated the names Ferguson, Poirier. Would you be willing to fight these guys? I said, "Absolutely." Then he called me back soon after and said, "Hey, would you be willing to be the backup? And then maybe you could end up having a fight if we try to put one together." I said, "Absolutely." So I gave 3 yeses, and I just wanted to show him right away that I'm here. I want to stay busy, and I also thrive in kind of the uncertainty, kind of the chaos, kind of the unorthodox type of paths. Anyway, I'm taking a little bit of guff for it. People are saying things about me, not actually being on the card, or I should have taken this fight or that fight or whatnot. But I wanted to get to work right away. I signed this deal, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Wanted to get to work right away. This is putting work in, even if I don't get to fight.
So, what are you doing in terms of like readiness? I mean, obviously physical readiness, you're just getting ready, but like game planning and stuff. Are there 2 different game plans going on and 2 different scouting reports going on?
Yeah, I think in general, I really focus 80% of my training just on myself anyway. But I think it really does help that Khabib, you have to prepare more for a grappling style. Gaethje, you need to prepare more for that striking style, striking defense and offense. So somewhere in the middle is the perfect game plan for kind of both of them, if you will. So I'm constantly trying to get better as a complete mixed martial artist. I've said it for years. I think my grappling will rival Khabib's, and as you guys have seen with my past performances and the dog fights and the wars that I've been in, I'm also not afraid to go out there and sling leather with Justin Gaethje for 5 rounds. So either way, I'm going to be prepared, and I even think that I may be more prepared for them if bad luck does befall the UFC, because I've prepared for them and they haven't prepared for me. So we'll see how it all plays out.
How long are you the backup? You know what I mean? Like, is there a cutoff where 2020 is crazy because they call you like Saturday afternoon, like maybe you're watching the prelims on the couch or something. They're like, got some news for you.
Exactly. I actually don't know, to be honest with you, and that's to be expected. I mean, I don't expect First of all, I think we took our 5th coronavirus test yesterday, right? And so those results will come out tomorrow morning. Then we have another coronavirus test tomorrow. I mean, myself and everyone else on the card will have put in 7 coronavirus tests over the last, couple weeks or, whatever it is, 2 weeks at this point, just to get to this fight card. And so I understand the UFC's got a bigger things to worry about than telling me when I can, take my blinders off and kind of put my fan hat on and just watch the fight. So,
will you just stay ready on Saturday?
Well, I mean, as of right now, I don't know if I'm gonna be wrapped up, mouthpiece in, cup on, until Gaethje and Khabib walk to the cage. I don't know if they're inside the cage and they still haven't said no until that cage door locks. But at this point, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, UFC, you need to tell me ASAP. I'm here. I'm taking it all in. This is amazing. The amenities, the hospitality here has been amazing. So I haven't really thought too much about it, although it would be nice to know, hey, when can I take a bite of pizza or pour an adult beverage?
You tweeted today, Khabib, I can't wait to prove you wrong. I'm curious exactly what specific point that he's made that you want to prove wrong.
I think he started the dialogue. I mean, he said he doesn't even need to use his wrestling to beat me, and that's fine. I mean, I've said things like that, and people say I'm being disrespectful. So I don't take it disrespect. I think there's nothing wrong with unrelenting, audacious self-belief in yourself, and the man has it. The man is a champion for a reason. The man is widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. So he has every reason to believe that he would go out there and run right through me. But prove me wrong. Beat me if you can. I think I bring a specific skill set, and a heart and determination, and honestly the culmination of the last 11 years of kind of the building up of getting this opportunity. And I think he was a little bit I guess submissive, or not submissive, but a little bit kind of flippant with me, a little bit, kind of throwing me to the side, which he should. As the champion, he doesn't need to be talking about the no-name new guy, B-leaguer, whatever you want to call me. And he's probably tired of getting asked questions about me, and because this is his fight card. So I get it. I get his reaction, but I can't wait to step in the cage with him.
Nice. Last thing for me. What is the backup plan for you? I mean, obviously you could get a world title fight on Saturday night. If you don't, what's the next move for you? Do you have an idea of, should you be the next title fight guaranteed? Is there another fight that makes more sense? What's the move?
I see obviously Khabib and Gaethje fighting this weekend, or at least they're matched up. If I don't fight, and then Conor and Poirier looks like is going to get done. It's not done yet. That leaves Tony Ferguson. He and I have had some back and forth. We've spoken over social media, call outs here and there. I mean, I think he's down to fight. I think I'm down to fight. I think that's the perfect fight to introduce me to the UFC fans, to who I am. I think Tony Ferguson's the scariest guy in the division. He's got a screw loose, and he fights like it. And it's admirable. So it would be I think that would be a great introduction fight for me. As far as timeline, man, my body's been going since March. When the pandemic hit, I was training for that last fight on my last contract to get into free agency, and I felt it this camp. I've been training the whole year, missed my family the whole year, but as I said, I'm a fighter, and I want to strike while the iron is hot. But I'd like a little bit of time off, so we'll see.
Michael, you were saying that in terms of those fights that introduce you to the UFC fan base, Tony Ferguson is perfect. They're starting to film The Ultimate Fighter in the next few weeks. I was thinking about possible coaches. There doesn't seem to be any obvious choice right now. If the UFC came to you and said, we'd like to put you and Tony as coaches on The Ultimate Fighter as a way to introduce you at large to the UFC fan base, would you say yes, even though you wanted to take a break?
Everything changes with circumstances like that. I mean, I would miss the heck out of my family. My body would probably revolt against me for it, but I think I would say yes to that. I was always a fan of The Ultimate Fighter. How long has it been off the air now? Yeah, a few years. So like kind of the revamp coming back. Is it on ESPN? So they're gonna revitalizing that franchise under the UFC banner is something that I would love to be. At least have my name thrown in the hat if they offered that. I think that would be something we'd definitely take a big look at, and I do love Las Vegas.
You mentioned you wanted to prove to Dana that you were going to be a company guy by saying yes to Gaethje, whatever. Obviously, Islam and Makhachev's opponent fell out. I know that you weren't super interested in that fight because of his ranking. Did the UFC ever even start that conversation with you? They didn't.
And so I did not turn down that fight, contrary to popular belief with all the chicken heads and stuff that people are sending me that I'm a chicken on social media. I did not turn down that fight. That fight was never offered to me, nor was it a fight that I was necessarily interested in. You don't just deviate from the plan to take a short notice fight against a different guy. We were focused on the task at hand. The task at hand is I'm the backup replacement for this fight. As you said, there's a lot more things at play here. We got some plans, talkings about what's going to happen next. So that was not part of the plan.
And if Tony doesn't come through, I know him and the UFC has got some negotiating to do. Obviously, another guy said your name is Dan Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
He says that by being the backup, you prove that the UFC have proven they value you that high, and that he wants to be the one to welcome you. Is that a fight you're interested in?
I mean, let's be honest. I've fought outside the UFC for so long, and I've seen some of these great performances these guys have put on. I have a ton of respect for every single lightweight on this roster, especially every single lightweight in the top 10. I by no means wanted to come in and disrespect anybody. Didn't want to come in and throw my weight around. I just said I think I know who I am, and I want to prove it pretty quickly, you know, and it's pretty easy also to, you know, a lot of people say, why don't you get an easier fight? Why don't you get someone outside the top 10, top 20, top 30, just get an introductory fight? But for me, it's sink or swim. You know, at this point, I've been in this game for a long time. I'm not looking to take tune-up fights. But the Dan Hooker fight, I think he's ranked number 6, you know. I mean, and he's just came off a phenomenal performance against Dustin Poirier, very hard-fought fight. Even though he lost that fight, I think he's on the up and up. It's a fight I'm interested in, but, you know, that Tony Ferguson fight makes a ton of sense, you know, and it's a scary fight. You know, I think Tony Ferguson, stepping in the cage against Tony Ferguson is a fight that scares me, which is exciting. You know, I want to feel that. I want to look across the octagon and feel a little bit of uncertainty, because that's where I thrive.
Last thing from me. The last time we saw a big free agent come into the UFC was Ben Askren. Now, admittedly, didn't necessarily go his way inside the cage, but he came in and made a huge impact in terms of superstardom and built his own brand, if you like, massively. Is that something you looked at and thought, I could be the next version of that?
Yeah, you know, Ben's one of the reasons I got into this sport. You know, Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren wrestled with both of them in college. They started fighting, and they were like my big brothers, so I kind of followed in their footsteps. But yeah, seeing what Tyron has done over the last, you know, however many years, and then seeing what Ben, the splash that Ben made, was definitely, you know, something that I looked at, and I was in contact with him throughout the whole process, the wins, the losses, you know, the splashes, the Twitter and Instagram wars that he would get in, the trash talk. You know, I'm not the biggest trash talker, so me and Ben are different in that regard. But I do think I have a message, and I have a voice that I want to use. So I want to be very active out there and build this platform as much as possible. But you know, I've always looked up to Ben as a competitor, as a man, as a father. So it's he's definitely one of those guys that I've looked at and said, this is, you know, what you can do with this platform very quickly, especially if you go out there and put on great performances, which, say what you want about me in or outside of the cage, I've never once taken a backward step. I've never once been in a boring fight. I want to come forward, and I want to have a good time out there. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Michael, you're one of several guys and girls over the years that, you know, you're doing great work outside of the promotion, but I'm assuming everybody bugs you. When are you going to do UFC, this and that? Can you explain, what do you guys go through? Because obviously there are a lot of fighters over the years that, you know, you get frustrated hearing about it when you're doing solid work against the competition they give you.
Yeah, and I think that's what it always has been. You're always trying to ride that fine line, and because, I mean, like I said, I think that audacious, flamboyant self-belief and self-confidence should be celebrated. You know, not stricken down as, oh, this guy's talking trash, or this guy is, you know, out of his mind. I've said things about Khabib. I've said things about being able to beat a lot of the other guys in the top of the lightweight division. I wasn't able to prove that because I was outside the organization. So should I have kept my mouth shut? No, probably not. You know, I want to talk about me being able to beat some of these guys. This moving here to the UFC and signing with the UFC, is me getting that opportunity. But yeah, it's always been one of those. I mean, when 2011, I came out and beat Eddie Alvarez, who was widely regarded as the number 3 lightweight in the world, finished him. From that day on, everybody said, when are you going to the UFC? You know, at that point in time, it was Benson Henderson as the champion. Hey, you need to fight Benson Henderson. You need to go to the UFC, fight Benson Henderson, be the champion. And then it was Pettis, and so on and so on and so on. So fighting outside of the UFC has given me, there's been a lot of frustration that has come with it, because, you know, there wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't always thinking about sitting right here. And I would rest my head on the pillow at night thinking, okay, it could happen someday, but if it doesn't happen, are you going to be okay with it? And I think that answer was probably not. It became apparent to me that probably not. It wasn't going to be something that I was going to be able to live with, not ever coming to the UFC. But you know, it has also afforded me the opportunity to sit back and plot and plan and look and watch and study and take notes of the entire mixed martial arts industry, and what it looks like, what works, what doesn't work, and see some of these guys' as meteoric rise and what they did and how they made an impact. So I've studied for a very long time to be in this position.
Have they fitted you for your own fight kit, and have you tried on the UFC gloves yet?
I did, yeah. So I actually, my manager Randall got me a pair of UFC gloves, you know, because obviously I've been fighting for 11 years outside the UFC. I wanted to see what they felt like. I wanted to train in them, see if there was any hang-ups with them. Loved them, great gloves. But I, you know, this morning actually, I put on the UFC fight kit for the first time, trying it on and changing sizes and the fit and all that kind of stuff. And I've cornered guys here in the UFC a couple times, so I've worn the fight kit, or the fight kit, not the actual fight shorts. But today it was a kind of an interesting feeling, you know, because I didn't necessarily, like I said, wasn't necessarily always looking forward to it, like I was for sure going to be here, but I always wondered what it would be like to put on the UFC gloves, to put on the UFC fight kit. So here we are, and I'm not satisfied with just putting it on. I'm not going to be satisfied until I put that UFC gold around my waist.
I mean, we know it fits, so you could fight in it Saturday if you need to. But
Yeah.
I guess on a sentimental level, was there any like I made it? Was there any? I guess what goes through your mind when you see the UFC logo on your hands?
No, I don't think it's an I made it, and that was one of the most frustrating things. And that's not to say anything, you know, to downplay the UFC at all, or being sitting here right now, or what the men and women here at the UFC have done. You know, this is the ultimate proving grounds for mixed martial arts. This is the biggest and most widely regarded, highest ranking mixed martial arts platform on the planet. So to be sitting right here is definitely an honor. But I'm so not satisfied with just putting on the gloves. I'm not satisfied with just putting on the fight kit. Honestly, I'm not satisfied sitting here if I don't get to fight. You know, I didn't. This was not my first choice. I didn't say, hey, Dana, let me come be the backup for the UFC 254. That sounds like fun. Number one, I hate making weight. Nobody does. And secondly, I don't want to have to go through a whole fight camp and be away from my family and not get the opportunity to fight. So this is not my number one choice. But you make the best decision you can with the opportunities that you have in front of you and the information that you have. So here we are. And like I said, I think I'm going to be UFC lightweight champion in the next 12 months.
In terms of the actual fight week, like you said, you've cornered guys, but you've not been an actual fighter. So you've seen it from one side, but now that you're here, has anything been different than what you expected?
It's a lot bigger than I thought. You know, it's a lot. I mean, I think I will say I've been to a lot of different fight weeks. You know, I've been to some of the, you know, I don't want to ever say too many cards are small with the UFC. The UFC always puts on great shows, big shows, but there's the smaller venues, or there's the smaller cities, or there's, you know, we all know that. But Abu Dhabi, you know, the W here, this is hospitality at its finest. You know, them rolling out the red carpet. This is pretty cool. So this being my first fight week experience, I've never experienced anything like this in mixed martial arts, you know. So this is cool, and you know, just the staff, the well-oiled machine of the UFC. I've been around it a little bit, and I've known, because I somewhat try to understand business or how promotions are ran, and they do it right, and they leave no stone unturned in the preparation. And now, obviously, with a worldwide pandemic going on, the coronavirus, they've taken a ton of extra precautions. So, you know, it's bigger, it's more intricate, it's exciting. You know, this is a very exciting time for me. I'm just really excited to step into the cage. You know, if it doesn't happen this weekend, very soon.
And when Benson left the UFC, he made a point saying, like, he was a prize fighter, so he wanted to go where the money was right, but he was going to miss a lot of the behind-the-scenes people, like photographers and social media team, the PR. Do you feel like that at all about Bellator, considering you spent so much time there?
I do, actually. You know, because, you know, fight promotions aside, you know, fighting in a cage aside, the sport aside, I mean, these are all human beings and heartbeats and souls and people that you know, I mean, I can't tell you the amount of people that reached out to me from Bellator, text messages and emails and voicemails and calls, just saying, hey, best of luck, congratulations, we're going to miss you. And then, you know, quite frankly, there was a lot of people who were even pulling for me, hey, if you got to leave and it's the best thing for you, see you later. You know, get lost, because I want you to go do what's best for you, you know? And those are the kind of relationships that you have. I mean, even at my last fight, you guys, if you heard my post-fight speech, the man who was holding my microphone, Mike Sarnowski, him and I have spent the last, you know, 8 years prior at every single fight, and he's inside the house. He's the guy who knows the decision before Michael C. Williams, the announcer, did. And my wife always knew to look to him to know what the answer, like all these different things behind the scenes, things that people don't know. And there was times where I lost a close split decision. My wife knew before it got announced, and these kinds of things, and where he would look down and, you know, so I miss everybody at Bellator, you know, because I will forever be indebted to them and their service to me and my career. So I fully expect, and I'm excited about creating those relationships here at the UFC.
Will you still pay attention to how those divisions and titles play out, considering you were so attached to, like, a lot of those fighters for so long?
No, not really the fighters. I mean, that's one thing I can say I didn't really wasn't really close to too many of the fighters. You know, I trained with a couple Bellator fighters, but for the most part, I'm, you know, of course I'll always be a fan of the organization. I'll be a fan of mixed martial arts. If there's good fights, I don't care if it's in a shoebox in Alaska, I'm gonna watch it. So, yeah, I'll watch it loosely.
And Pitbull leave you alone?
No, he probably never will. Probably never will. But that's a good thing, you know. Like I said, you know, if you you know, you make an impact on somebody that much and they can't stop talking about you, you just you shrug it off and you sleep well at night. Know that you rent space in their head.
Yeah. One final one. This McGregor Poirier fight that might be coming up. A lot of people kind of consider that might be a #1 contender fight. They don't know if it'll be at 170 or 155. Khabib says if they want to fight for this belt, they should fight at 155. Are you in agreement with that statement?
Weight cutting's an interesting thing. You know, for me, you know, like I said, I show up at the weight that they want me to fight. You know, if the UFC is not willing to ever let catch weights happen or 170 happen, they say, hey, if you fight at 170, you're not going to get the title shot. I'm fighting at 155. But the way I look at it is if I'm fighting, say, Tony Ferguson next, and we're both 155 pounders, and I've made weight, this will be the 4th time I made weight in 12 months. Why don't we both fight at 170 and not really cut that extra little bit of water weight? And I'm still fighting a lightweight at 170. And let's be honest, Conor has never fought a welterweight. He's put on the facade that he has fought at welterweight, but he's never fought a welterweight at welterweight. You know, it's all, you know, a lot of stuff he does is genius marketing, smoke and mirrors, and he's always fought 155 pounders at 170. So he essentially just didn't cut weight for a 155 fight. My body says I'd love to fight at a lightweight at 170 and just not cut the weight. But if there's title implications on the line, you best believe I'll come in at 154 just to make sure I get that, to secure that title shot.
Well, many people were suggesting you as a replacement fighter for Islam Makhachev, who lost his opponent. UFC didn't like this idea for one reason or another. Did you like this idea personally?
No, because I mean, like I said, I didn't want to deviate from our current plan. You know, I get a lot of people, and trust me, I saw the comments. I saw the, you know, people reaching out. You're going to go all the way over there and you're not going to fight. Why don't you just fight this guy? It just doesn't work like that. You know, you got to focus on the task at hand. The task at hand was me being the replacement for this fight, going throughout fight week, making weight, and, you know, signing my name on the dotted line that I'm going to show up here. And I did that. So, no, it wasn't even a question in my mind. Why? You know, and as I said, he's a number 12 ranked guy. So, if I already have names in the hat in that top 5, top 3 to be able to fight these guys, why would I fight number 12? So,
Would you open to face him in the future?
no, I mean, of course. I mean, I respect him. As I said, I respect every single guy who puts on these UFC gloves. You know, I've been fighting outside this organization, wanting to fight for this organization in some form or fashion for the last decade. So to say that I wouldn't want to fight him is not true. You know, if he, you know, chances are our paths will cross. So we'll see what happens.
How many messages you get from Dagestan from last week? In what time?
Oh, a lot, and I actually respect it a ton, you know. And you know, it's amazing when a guy like Khabib can be, you know, my manager and I were just talking about it. You know, he's like LeBron James and Tom Brady put together, you know, in these other countries, you know, and he's looked at like that kind of celebrity, that kind of athlete, and he's treated like that. And man, if people knew the opportunities in the life that mixed martial arts can afford a kid from Dagestan or a kid from middle of nowhere Missouri like me, you know, it's some really cool success story type of stuff. So I received a ton of messages, you know, so I was getting voice memos in Russian and different, you know, languages, and I'm like, I don't know what these are saying. I guess I'll just delete it. But I respect it, you know. I love that they want to stand up for their fellow countrymen, and, you know, if when Khabib and I step into the cage, I expect even a ton more. Whether you call it hate or anti-support or whatever you want to call it, either way, I respect it.
You translated something on
What?
of this message. You translated it or not?
No, I mean, there was a lot of them. Yeah, there was a lot of them. So at one point I was like, okay, you know, I'm not, obviously this is someone from that part of the world and it's a voice memo and I'm not going to be able to hear it. So just started deleting them, or, you know, didn't look at them, if you will. But The one I did ask people to translate for me, basically the guy just said, "You chicken, sign on the dotted line, blah blah blah," and as I said, it's comical, not like I'm laughing at them. It's comical as in, this is great. This is the fight game. Embrace this, the beauty of people from all walks of life, as far as the East is from the West, that we're all part of this mixed martial arts community. And as I said, there'll come a time when I step into the cage with Khabib, and I believe I will beat him for the strap.